The window shattered with a muffled crash, and I bolted upright in bed, my heart slamming against my ribs like a trapped bird. In the dim glow of my bedside lamp, a shadowy figure tumbled through the frame, landing in a crouch on my hardwood floor. Her eyes wide, not with malice but with something raw and desperate. Before I could scream, she whispered, "Please don't. I'm not here to hurt you." And in that moment, the thief who snuck into my room did the unexpected. She collapsed against the wall, tears streaming down her face, begging for help instead of escape. My name is Gracie Thompson, and that night in my tiny Brooklyn apartment changed everything. It was late autumn 2024, the kind of crisp New York evening where the city hums with unspoken stories. I just turned 28, working as a graphic designer for a midtown ad agency, scraping by on freelance gigs and ramen noodles. My life was a monotonous loop. Subway rides, coffee-fueled deadlines, and lonely evenings scrolling through dating apps that never led anywhere. I'd come out as lesbian in college, but after a string of failed relationships, cheaters, ghosters, the works, I'd built walls higher than the Empire State Building. Trust? That was a luxury I couldn't afford anymore. The intruder, Melody, as I'd learned her name, was a whirlwind of contradictions. She was maybe 25, with tousled blonde hair that framed a face etched with exhaustion, her leather jacket scuffed from too many rough nights. She clutched a small backpack, but instead of rifling through my drawers, she slid down the wall, hugging her knees. I didn't know anyone was home," she stammered, her voice laced with a faint southern drawl that didn't belong in this concrete jungle. The lights were off downstairs. I just needed a place to hide. Hide? From what? My mind raced. The logical part of me screamed to grab my phone and dial 911, but something in her eyes, vulnerable, haunted, held me back. I'd always been the empathetic type, the one who volunteered at shelters and donated to GoFundMes for strangers. "Who are you running from?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt, inching toward the edge of my bed. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "My ex. He's bad news. Found out where I was staying, came looking with his buddies. I saw your fire escape and just climbed." Her story spilled out in fragments. Melody Harper, originally from a small town in Georgia, had fled to New York 2 years ago to escape an abusive relationship. She'd bounced between odd jobs, waitressing, dog walking, but hard times led to harder choices. Petty theft to survive, she admitted, her cheeks flushing with shame. Tonight, she'd targeted what she thought was an empty apartment for quick cash, but fate had other plans. I should have kicked her out. Instead, I tossed her a blanket from my closet. "You can stay till morning," I said, surprising myself. "But if you're lying, I'm calling the cops." She nodded gratefully, curling up on my worn couch. As the adrenaline faded, we talked, hesitant at first, then flowing like the Hudson River. She shared dreams of becoming a musician, strumming guitar in dive bars. I confessed my passion for art that the corporate world had stifled. By dawn, the thief had become a confidant, and a spark ignited in my chest, warm, unfamiliar, terrifying. Over the next weeks, Melody lingered in my life like a melody I couldn't shake. She crashed on my couch, repaying me by cooking simple meals. Grilled cheese with a twist of herb she'd foraged from a community garden. We'd wander Central Park, her laughter echoing as we fed ducks stale bread. "You're different, Gracie," she'd say, her hand brushing mine accidentally on purpose. "You see people, not just their mistakes." I felt seen too for the first time in years. Our conversations delved deep. Her scars from a conservative family that disowned her for loving women. My own battles with self-doubt after a betrayal by my college sweetheart who left me for a normal life. But doubts crept in. Friends warned me. "She's a thief, Gracie. What if she's using you?" And I'd brush it off, but late at night I'd wonder. Melody started opening up more, sharing songs she'd written on her beat-up guitar. One evening, under the string lights on my fire escape, she played a ballad about lost souls finding home. Our eyes locked and she leaned in, her lips soft against mine. It was electric, a kiss that tasted of redemption and risk. "I don't deserve this," she murmured, pulling back. "But I want it more than anything." As winter blanketed the city, our bond deepened. We explored Brooklyn's hidden gems, vintage bookstores in Williamsburg, jazz clubs in Harlem. Melody got a job at a coffee shop, vowing to go straight. "For you," she'd say, her fingers intertwined with mine. But shadows loomed. One night I found her backpack open, a stolen necklace glinting inside. Not mine but from somewhere else. It's old, she insisted. From before us. Hurt bloomed in my chest. Was this love or just another con? The conflict simmered. I confronted her, tears flowing. How can I trust you if you're still holding on to that life? She broke down, revealing her ex had blackmailed her into one last job to pay off debts. I was scared to tell you, she sobbed. I thought you'd leave. We fought. Raw and real, but in the aftermath we clung tighter, promising honesty. It was drama at its peak. Hearts on the line, futures uncertain. Yet, in those moments I felt alive, human, connected. Spring arrived in New York like a hesitant lover. Buds unfurling on trees lining the streets of my neighborhood. Melody and I had navigated the rocky winter, emerging stronger, or so I thought. Our days blended into a rhythm. Mornings with shared coffee, her humming tunes while I sketched designs. Evenings strolling hand in hand through Prospect Park, where cherry blossoms painted the air pink. She traded her backpack for a guitar case, busking in subway stations for tips. This is real now, she'd say, her green eyes sparkling. Because of you, Gracie. But love, especially one born from chaos, rarely stays simple. My agency landed a big client, a national campaign for eco-friendly products, and suddenly I was buried in work, pulling all-nighters. Melody supported me, leaving notes like, "You're my muse," on my laptop. Yet cracks appeared. She'd vanish for hours, claiming gigs, but her phone would ring with unknown numbers. Paranoia gnawed at me. Was her past catching up? One rainy afternoon, I came home early to surprise her with takeout from our favorite Thai spot. The apartment was empty, but her journal lay open on the coffee table, a careless mistake. Curiosity won. I flipped through pages of lyrics until words jumped out. He called again. Needs one more favor. Can't let Gracie know. My stomach dropped. He her ex? The one she'd fled? Betrayal sliced through me like a knife. When she returned, soaked and apologetic, I exploded. Who is he, Melody? And what favor? She froze, then crumbled. It's not what you think. Jake, my ex, he's in town demanding money I owe from old debts. I was going to handle it alone. But the journal mentioned a job. Theft? She admitted it. He coerced her into scouting a jewelry store for a heist. I didn't do it, she cried. I backed out. For us. The fight was epic, voices echoing off the walls. You lied. After everything. I shouted, tears blurring my vision. She begged. I was protecting you. I love you, Gracie. More than I've ever loved anyone. Love? She'd said it first, hanging in the air like thunder. But trust shattered, I asked her to leave. She packed silently, her guitar the last to go. As the door clicked shut, emptiness swallowed me. Days blurred into weeks of heartache. I threw myself into work, but every sketch reminded me of her. Fluid lines like her melodies. Friends urged me to move on. She's trouble, girl. You deserve better. But better than what? The raw passion we shared? Late nights I'd replay our moments. Dancing in the kitchen to old jazz records, her head on my shoulder during movie marathons. Was it all a lie? Then a turning point. A knock at my door one evening revealed a detective, NYPD badge flashing. Ma'am, we're looking for Melody Harper. She's a witness in a case against Jake Ramirez. Known felon. My heart raced. Melody had turned him in, providing evidence of his crimes, including threats against her. She mentioned you, the detective said. Said you're the reason she's fighting back. Shock morphed into action. I tracked her down to a women's shelter in Queens, where she'd been staying. She looked thinner, eyes shadowed, but lit up when she saw me. Gracie. I didn't expect. I cut her off with a hug. You did the right thing. Why didn't you tell me? We talked for hours, unraveling the web of fear that had ensnared her. Jake's arrest was imminent. Melody was free but scarred. Reconciliation wasn't instant. We started slow coffee dates, walks along the East River. She shared her full story. Growing up in a Bible Belt town, discovering her sexuality amid rejection, running to the city for a fresh start only to fall into bad patterns. You showed me I could be more, she whispered one sunset. Our kisses returned, tentative then fervent, rebuilding on honesty. But drama lingered. Jake's trial loomed and threats surfaced. Anonymous calls, shadows following her. One night, as we dined at a cozy Italian spot in Little Italy, a man approached, Jake's associate, warning her to recant. Fear gripped us, but together we reported it. "We're in this," I said, holding her hand. Strength and unity, a theme echoing our bond. As summer heated the city, our love bloomed anew. Melody landed a spot in a local band, her voice soaring in clubs. I quit my soul-sucking job for freelance art, inspired by her courage. We moved to a bigger place in Brooklyn Heights, overlooking the bridge, a symbol of crossing into new beginnings. Yet whispers of doubt remained. Could we outrun the past? The courtroom in downtown Manhattan was a pressure cooker of tension, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. Melody sat rigid beside her lawyer, testifying against Jake, detailing years of abuse, manipulation, the criminal underworld he dragged her into. I watched from the gallery, my nails digging into palms, as the prosecutor grilled her. "And why now, Miss Harper? After participating in his schemes?" Her voice steady. "Because I found someone who believes in me. Someone worth changing for." Our eyes met. Pride swelled in me, mixed with fear. The trial was our high noon, conflicts peaking. Jake's defense painted Melody as an accomplice, dredging up her thefts. Whispers rippled through the room. I felt judgmental stares. Outside, media hovered. Local news sniffing a juicy story of redemption amid crime. "Lesbian love saves thief from the brink," one tabloid quipped, twisting our private world. Privacy shattered, we faced backlash. Homophobic trolls online, even a brick through our window with a hateful note. Betrayal hit closer. My sister, Emily, flew in from Chicago, concerned. "Gracie, this is dangerous. She's pulling you down." Over dinner at our place, tensions boiled. Melody defended herself. "I'm not that person anymore." But Emily unearthed an old arrest record, Melody's from Georgia. "She didn't tell you everything," Emily said. Heard anew, I confronted Melody. "Why hide it?" Tears fell. "It was a minor charge, shoplifting as a teen. I was ashamed." The omission stung, echoing past lies. We teetered on the edge. "Maybe we need space," I suggested, heartbreaking. She moved to a friend's couch, the apartment echoing her absence. Loneliness amplified emotions. I journaled furiously, sketching portraits of her. Fierce, fragile. Friends divided. Some championed our love, others cautioned. In therapy, a new step for me. I unpacked my fears. Abandonment issues from my ex, projected onto Melody. A breakthrough came via a letter Melody slipped under my door. Pages of raw honesty, lyrics woven in. "You're my anchor in this stormy sea. I betrayed your trust, but my love is true." Moved, I sought her out at a gig in Greenwich Village. Her set was electric, songs pouring out pain and hope. Afterward, in the alley rain, we embraced. "I can't lose you," I sobbed. "Then don't," she replied, kissing me fiercely. Reunited, we faced the storm head-on. Jake was convicted, guilty on multiple counts, sentenced to years behind bars. Relief washed over us like a summer downpour. But scars remained. Melody entered counseling for trauma. I joined support groups for partners of survivors. Our relationship evolved, deeper, more resilient. We volunteered at LGBTQ+ shelters, channeling pain into purpose. "This is us giving back," she'd say, her hand in mine. Fall returned, leaves crunching underfoot as we picnicked in Central Park. Melody proposed a trip, road tripping to Niagara Falls, a fresh start. En route, in a quaint upstate diner, she pulled out a ring, simple silver, etched with musical notes. "Marry me, Gracie. Let's build a life free of shadows." Tears of joy. "Yes." The falls roared approval, mist veiling us in magic. Yet life's drama persisted subtly. Back in the city, my art career soared. A gallery show featuring pieces inspired by our story. Melody's band signed a small label deal. Success bred envy. An old flame of mine resurfaced, flirting shamelessly at the opening. Melody's jealousy flared. "Do you miss that life?" We argued, but resolved with communication, our new mantra. Humanity shone through in quiet moments. Helping a runaway teen we met busking, echoing Melody's past. Everyone deserves a second chance, I reflected. Our love, forged in fire, became a beacon, romantic, yes, but grounded in empathy. As winter approached again, we hosted a small gathering, friends, family reconciled. Emily toasted. To love that endures. But whispers of bi-tragedy lingered in my mind. What if the past resurfaced? Melody sensed it, pulling me close one night. We're not defined by mistakes. We're defined by how we rise. Her words, a balm, reminded me. Love isn't perfect, it's persistent. The gallery lights in Soho cast a warm glow on my canvases, each stroke telling fragments of our saga. Abstract swirls of red for passion, blues for betrayal. Opening night buzzed with art lovers, champagne flutes clinking. Melody stood by my side, radiant in a borrowed dress, her arm around my waist. Proud of you, babe, she murmured. But amid the praise, tension simmered. A critic's review hinted at exploitative themes, questioning if our story was fodder for my success. Post-show exhaustion hit. We argued in the cab home. Is this about us or your career? She asked, hurt. Both. I retorted. You inspire me. Reconciliation came in bed, whispers of forgiveness. But seeds of doubt grew. Melody's band toured briefly, East Coast gigs, and distance amplified insecurities. Late-night calls turned strained. She mentioned a flirty fan, laughing it off, but jealousy twisted in me. Climax built when I discovered texts on her phone. Innocent, but from an ex-bandmate, laced with nostalgia. Why keep in touch? I demanded. She exploded. Because I have a life outside us. You don't own me. The fight escalated, doors slamming. She stormed out, leaving me in silence. Hours later, panic set in. I searched bars, her haunts. Found her on our fire escape, the same one she'd entered years ago, sobbing. I'm scared, Gracie. Success is pulling us apart. Vulnerability poured out. Fears of inadequacy, of losing me to my rising star. I confessed mine. Abandonment terrors. We held each other, rain pattering, vowing therapy together. Sessions unearthed layers. Her PTSD from abuse, my trust issues. Progress was slow, emotional, but bonding. A pivotal betrayal emerged indirectly. During a session, Melody revealed a hidden debt. Old medical bills from Jake's violence. She'd been paying secretly, fearing burden. I didn't want to drag you down. Anger flared. That's not partnership. But understanding dawned. Her independence was armor. We refinanced together, sharing burdens. Romance rekindled in small acts. Surprise picnics, handwritten poems. We attended Pride in June, flags waving, our kisses public and proud. This is our America, she said amid cheers, diverse, defiant. Yet, external drama intruded. A conservative relative outed us online, sparking harassment. We countered with advocacy, speaking at events. Love wins, became our rally cry. As autumn leaves fell, we married in an intimate ceremony at Brooklyn Botanic Garden. Friends as witnesses, vows poetic. From thief to thief of my heart, I teased. Honeymoon in the Catskills. Cabin fires, stargazing, intimacy profound yet chaste. Focused on souls connecting. Back home life normalized. My art sold. Her music streamed. We adopted a rescue dog, Buddy. A mutt with Melody's energy. But a final test loomed. Jake's appeal hearing. Threats resumed. Letters warning silence. Fear gripped, but we stood firm. At the hearing, Melody testified again, stronger. Appeal denied, closure. Human elements deepened. We mentored youth at a queer center, sharing our story, flaws and all. Redemption isn't linear, I'd say. Melody's songs evolved, albums selling modestly. Our bond, once fragile, now unbreakable. Laced with drama but anchored in love. One evening, watching the sunset from our balcony, she turned. Thank you for seeing me that night. I smiled. Thank you for stealing my heart. Laughter, then peace. Life's uncertainties remained, but together we faced them. Winter's grip tightened on New York, snow blanketing rooftops like a fresh canvas. Our married life hummed with quiet joy. Mornings tangled in sheets debating breakfast. Evenings with Buddy romping in the park. Melody's album dropped. Stolen Moments. Tracks inspired by us, climbing indie charts. My gallery expanded. We bought a brownstone in Park Slope, dreaming of roots. But drama, ever present, resurfaced subtly. A producer courted Melody for a major label, requiring relocation to LA. It's my shot, she said, eyes alight. Conflict brewed. My career tied to NYC. What about us? I asked. Debates turned heated, echoing past fights. I'm not leaving you, she assured. We'll figure it out. Compromise. She'd commute, we'd adapt. Betrayal's shadow fell when I overheard a call. Her manager pushing a single and mysterious image for marketing. Hide the marriage? I confronted. She admitted hesitation. The industry's tough on out artists. Hurt deepened. So I'm a secret? Tears flowed. She chose authenticity, firing the manager. You're my everything. Highs and lows intertwined. We hosted holidays, family blending, past rifts healing. Emily bonded with Melody over guitar lessons. Yet a health scare. Melody's old injuries flared, requiring surgery. I nursed her, roles reversing, her vulnerability my strength. You're my hero, she whispered post-op. As spring thawed, we traveled Europe, exploring Paris's romance, Rome's history. Back, we founded a nonprofit, Second Chances, aiding LGBTQ+ folks escaping abuse. Our story inspired donations, volunteers. Humanity at core. One mentee, a young lesbian fleeing the South, mirrored Melody's path. You give hope, she told us. Climax resolved in reflection. On our anniversary, the night she broke in, we recreated it. Window open, her sneaking in with flowers. Laughter, then serious. We've weathered storms. Indeed, abuse, lies, societal hate, but emerged compassionate. The ending, not fairy tale perfect, but profoundly human. Melody signed indie, staying east. My art toured nationally. We discussed kids, adoption, fostering. Life's uncertainties? Embraced. In a world of division, our love stood as testament. Flawed, resilient, beautiful. Years later, gray in our hair, we'd sit on that fire escape, hands clasped. From thief to wife, I'd tease. She'd smile. And you stole my soul. A tale of drama, emotion, romance. Ultimately, redemption. In America's melting pot, two women found home in each other, proving love's power to heal.